It's November 11th, 2019, the capital city of Ethiopia, which is Addis Ababa. My name is Jong Han. I am the president of Korean War Legacy Foundation. We have about 1,500 interviews of Korean War veterans from 19 countries now, including Ethiopian soldiers. We are doing this to preserve your memory, first of all, because it's been a long time. But at the same time, we are doing this to honor your service as a Korean War veterans from Ethiopia. And also, we are making this interview into teaching materials so that teachers in the classroom can continue to talk about the war that you fought for. That's why we are doing this. And also, Korean government's Ministry of Patriots and Veterans Affairs, MPVA, you know well, right? They commissioned my foundation to conduct this series of interviews from 22 countries so that MPVA will make a special government website for the 70th anniversary of the breakout of the Korean War next year. That's why we are here. I am so impressed with so much kindness and strength of the Ethiopia, as well as beautiful country, a lot of resources. So it's my great honor and pleasure to meet you, sir, and doing this together. Please introduce yourself. What is your name? And then spell it for the audience, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Melese Tessema.
Can you spell it?
Yes, M-E-L-A-S-S-A Tessema, T-E-Tessema, T-E-S-A-M-A, Tessema. My grandfather's name is Dabala Melese Tessema.
I see.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Well, presently I'm 89, but after 2 months I will become 90.
90-year-old man?
Yeah. And January 1st, I will be 90.
My too. I am January 1st too. So what is your birthday then? What is
1st January, 1931.
1931?
Yeah.
And that's
Ethiopian calendar.
Ethiopian calendar.
No, Gregorian calendar.
Gregorian.
Yeah.
So Western. Got it. You look like a 60-year-old man.
Thank you.
What is the secret? Do you drink a lot or do you exercise a lot? What?
I think it's the result of my wife. My wife is taking care of me very much.
Wow. What is her name?
Her name is Tsadale. Asafa Tsadale, T-S-E-D-A-L. Asafa A-S-S-E-F-A. Tsadale Asafa.
Wish I can meet her while I'm staying here, but I think you have a very special title here in Ethiopia, right? So could you introduce yourself as you are the president? So could you talk about the Korean War Veterans Association in Ethiopia and what do you do there?
When? Now?
Now.
Now I'm presently I'm the president of the Ethiopian Korean War Veterans Association. I'm the president. I'm working on that.
Mm-hmm. How many members, how many soldiers still survive?
Alive?
Yeah, alive.
Alive? Presently there are 142, I think.
142?
Yeah, presently alive.
Mm.
This is for today. Tomorrow, I don't know, maybe.
You may have another member, actually, to join you tomorrow so that you can increase the number.
Okay.
So, please tell me, what do you do? What is the job of Ethiopian Korean War Veterans Association? And what did you do? You are the colonel, retired colonel, right? So please tell me about your military career.
My military career, when I go to Korea, I was fresh graduate from my military academy. I graduated in 1952, April 11 or 12, I don't know. The next day I dispatched to Korea. The next day of my...
Next day?
The next day of my graduation, yeah.
So that was 1951?
1951, yeah. Mm-hmm. Then I was a platoon leader in the Korean War. After that, I returned to my unit, to my mother unit, and I served in many different units. So I served in Ethiopian Defense Minister in many units, and after the Emperor Haile Selassie left his power, and I was also pensioned. So after that, I have been employed to many civilian organizations, and since I left my job, it's about 30 years. In the whole 30 years, I have been serving in many welfare organizations. Mm-hmm. And after that, when this association was organized, I started serving the association.
When?
That is in 1992. In 92, I think.
So you've been president since 1992?
Yeah.
Wow. So what are the works that you've been doing as a president of association? What do you do?
In the association? Well, it's actually I can say it is only welfare. I ask some sort of support from friends such like Koreans, mostly Koreans. So now my result is fruitful. So the Koreans were helping us in many kinds of service.
For example?
Yeah.
Like a scholarship? Do they give you
scholarship? Allowances such like pension allowances, mm-hmm. Free hospitalization at the Korea hospital, and that's all. That is what I am doing. You see, as you have seen here, they built us in a nice building here, Lotte groups. Now I think we are going to use this for income generation. So this is very good help for us.
Yeah. And today is November 11th, right?
Yeah.
So it's Veterans Day? What is it? You seem to have a special
Today is
event.
November 11, and we celebrate this day, turn towards Busan.
Yeah.
Turn towards Busan, because I think this is the Memorial Day for Busan, because Busan is a place where we have been embarked from the ship when it came to Korea. At the same time, Busan was there was a United Nations cemetery, and including the Ethiopians who lost their lives at the battlefield. So I think that is the Memorial Day today. Today we are celebrating that Memorial Day.
That's great. I came to the right time here to see all these things. But were you in the first dispatchment of Ethiopian soldier to Korea, right? So then you must have arrived in Busan May 6th of 1951, right?
Yeah.
So, wow. You are in the first detachment, right?
Yeah. First and second, it's the same.
So, tell me about this, because you are the only living witness, I think, not many, who saw Busan in 1951, and you've been back to Busan many times, right?
Once.
Once.
After the war.
After the war.
After the war, once.
When?
It's about 5 years ago, I think.
Okay, so you can give us a good comparison of Busan in 1951 and 5 years ago Busan. Tell me, please. Describe the detail.
Well, when I arrived to Korea in Busan, I found Busan in very catastrophic condition. So people were very, very poor. I can say that very frankly, and I hope you know, very poor. And the town was already ruined. I see many children on the streets crying because they lost their families. And they were in very, very poor condition. That is what I have seen at that time. For the second time when I see Korea...
5 years ago.
Yeah, it was very surprising to me. Korea to see in that 5 years ago, it is very, very few years to make such a progress.
Yeah.
I was very much surprised.
Why?
I was very much surprised. The town is very modern time and very different from what I have seen at the beginning.
So please give me your honest opinion of what did you think about the Korea in 1951? Very poor, right, compared to Ethiopia at the time.
At that time, Ethiopia was much better than the Koreans at that time. Because of that, His Majesty, our king, he donated $400,000 US for Koreans.
Wow.
Before the unit arrives, before we arrive, 7 months ahead, Emperor has donated 400,000 US dollars.
At the time?
At that time, yeah.
That's a huge...
So that shows you how Ethiopia very far from Ethiopia at that time.
Strong.
So this time, it is the reverse, I can see.
But history change, all the time. So you never see it. You never know what will happen in Ethiopia. And we hope that we can work together, okay? Because you helped us 70 years ago. That's how we became so strong now. But you are in a very good position to explain to young students who will listen this interview about why Emperor Seleucus decided to send his army to Korea. Why? Well,
he has got an experience. Ethiopia was the member of League of Nations. So at that time, when Ethiopia was invaded by Italians, his emperor, Haile Selassie, presented his grievances to the members of the organization, and they didn't accept, and they ignored his appeal, and then we were invaded. So
by Italian?
By the Italians, yes, by the Italians. At that time, during the Second World War, the situation of Ethiopia and Korea is the same. Because at that time, Korea was also under the colonization of Japan.
Exactly.
Yeah, Ethiopia also under the colonization of Italian.
Yes.
So, when Emperor comes back to Ethiopia in victory, now when he was asked by United Nations to join so he remembers what happened to him by the League of Nations. So he really accepted. They didn't expect that he will accept it, but Emperor has done it. When he was asked, he said, "We know the situation. We tested it, so we have to help the people who are under the colony. So therefore, I will send my troops. We'll join the battle. We'll help those who lost their freedom. We will fight for freedom of nations," he said. That's why. That's the reason.
That's why I am very thankful to the Ethiopian soldiers and Ethiopia, because it was from 1935 to 1941 that Ethiopia was occupied by Italy, and they understood the situation in Korea so well. So I'm very thankful to the Ethiopian soldiers and Emperor's decision. What is the most important contribution of Ethiopian soldiers? What are the most wonderful accomplishments that Ethiopian soldiers made during the war compared to other soldiers from other countries?
Well, Emperor has warned his unit to do the maximum effort to liberate Koreans. So very loyal to the Emperor, and we paid attention to his warning and to his order. So that's why we gave the maximum effort during the battle.
Mm-hmm. And I read the books about Ethiopian soldiers, and there was no prisoner of war. How is it possible?
Well, it's a matter of the training system.
Wow. Tell me.
It is the training system. You know, why we don't have any prisoners of war. When you go to the battlefield, we check each other. Each individual check each other.
Uh-huh.
So therefore, when somebody died or received casualty, so they check each other. So that is why we will never leave any casualty or any dead body behind. That's the reason.
I am amazed because I did an interview with a lot of Korean War veterans from many other countries, and there are many, many prisoner of wars. But Ethiopia, there is no single prisoner of war. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's the reason, as I told you.
I see.
We check each other.
Uh-huh.
So even when you go to the battle, we check each other, we see each other, and we count the numbers, participants. And when we came back also, we check each other.
That's amazing.
That's why.
So at the time when you arrived in Busan, May 6th of 1951, you were second lieutenant?
Second lieutenant, yeah.
Okay.
Fresh graduate. I was second
My
lieutenant.
goodness. Were you afraid? Were you scared?
Well, of course, I'm a human being. Anybody afraid. But the most important is people can afraid. A soldier even can afraid, but he has to control himself. So that is what everybody is afraid of this, as you know. But we control ourselves. What we are doing, where we are going. We know, of course, now when we check ourselves, we are going to the battle. That is the place where you are dying. So whether you are afraid or not, you have to accomplish your mission.
Right answer. So, from Busan, where did you go?
From Busan to Kumawa.
Geumhwa?
Kumawa.
Right? Directly?
To the west or to the, I don't know. Kumawa.
It's east, Geumhwa. So you went to Geumhwa, and tell me what happened. What did you do there? Who was the enemy? And did you fight? And give me some story about it.
Well, you know, after I arrived to Kumawa, the third day I arrived in Kumawa,
Yeah.
I was sent for patrol action. So the hill, I do remember, to the hill 358.
358.
Yeah, to the hill 358.
Yeah.
So to arrive there, we have to cross the water. At that time, there was a stream. It was full. And then we have to cross. We are going on foot. So I was up to here.
Up to here?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we crossed there. And just we arrived to the place, we made contact with the enemy.
What enemy? Chinese or North Korean?
Yeah, the place was occupied firstly
Chinese.
by the
North Koreans.
North Koreans or Chinese, I don't know. So we fought, and we took the place. We controlled the place, and I stayed there for 3 days. So after 3 days, somebody replaced me, and I came back to the front line.
Uh-huh. How was it? Difficult? Very scary?
Well, it was the first day, so it was difficult for me.
Yeah, must be.
At that time, though the fighting did not take many hours, so it was completed within about 20 minutes. Within 20 minutes time, we captured the place. So at that time, it was much time for me, because it was the first war that I made.
Ever?
Ever.
Oh,
yeah.
my goodness.
And then during my stay, I stayed there for about 15 months. So during my stay, I made many patrol actions. So although it took me much time, I didn't feel like the first time, because it's after my experience.
Yeah. Were there any dangerous moments that you could have been wounded or killed? Tell me about those details.
Yes, I received. I have injured on my right leg.
Where?
Yes,
Let
here.
me show. Okay, show
Here,
me.
it was the shell of mortar shell.
Oh,
The splinter.
yeah.
Here is this is.
Does it still hurt?
It's like this. Yeah. Huh?
Does it still hurt?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, the bone did not hurt. Was not hurt.
okay.
Yeah.
So you got, what is the medal?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. From Korean government and from Ethiopian government, and I received also Bronze Star,
Bronze Star.
American Bronze Star.
That's a very prestigious medal. Bronze Star.
Yeah.
Okay, where is it?
Well,
Really?
now I didn't wear
Oh,
now.
my goodness, you
It's in my home.
You should have brought to me.
Yes, I have it. I have many medals.
Do you have pictures too?
Uh,
Did you take a lot of pictures during the war?
yes, I have. You can see it in my museum here.
Okay, I wanna take a picture of those.
You can see it, but not decorated. But the decorated picture I have at home, and if you want to have it, I will send you a copy.
Please, I need that so that we can publish it in the internet, so everybody can see it.
Okay.
And I want to use that as a teaching material for Ethiopian history teachers. So, any special memory about the battle that you had? Anything you still remember? Scary, very dangerous, but very rewarding.
Well, the very dangerous one, the action I participated in Triangle Hill.
Triangle Hill.
Triangle Hill. It was very hard battle, which I have ever received when I was in Korea, and that was that I do remember.
Can you
what
tell
happened
me more?
and,
How was it?
in Triangle Hill, in my command post, my company commander came to my command post because his command post was not good. He came to my command post, and when we see enemy with the binocular, immediately we received volley fire, artillery fire.
Artillery fire, yes.
The American observer was with us. It was about 7 o'clock in the afternoon, in the evening. Mm-hmm. Now, at the same time, tremendous of enemy's soldiers were approaching to us. So that place was very new for us. We didn't dig much. We didn't dig good defensive position. But anyway, we were on high ground. We can see the enemy approaching. It took us many hours to fight. We didn't lose much.
Soldiers?
We didn't lose many soldiers because we were on the high ground. We were in the high ground. They were in the low ground. They couldn't climb as they want. So that night, I do remember. And even I lost some of my soldiers next to me. I was saved at that time. That is the most difficult time for me.
That's a very famous battle, Iron Triangle.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Kumhwa,
Yeah. Triangle Hill?
Cheolwon.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
We have participated 5 bad battles, and one of them is Triangle Hill, which is the worst one.
Yeah. So you were there.
Yeah, I was there.
Wow,
I
you
was
have the
there.
history.
I was there.
Wow. Do you still have a kind of memory of those? Like a flash?
Well, yeah, but yes, I remember. Even I lost my intimate friend there. He was second lieutenant, the same graduate with me.
Oh.
I still remember. His name is here now.
What's his name?
Magus.
What was the most difficult thing during your service in Korea? Was it weather or was it killing or what was the most difficult thing?
Really, at the beginning, it was the weather. At the beginning, when we arrived there.
Yeah.
But immediately we adopted it, immediately. So for the weather. But only one thing, the language. Otherwise, everything was good. But the language.
But Ethiopian soldiers worked with the American 7th Division, right?
Yeah.
So
Under
were you
7th
able to speak in English there?
No.
No.
The soldiers do not speak. They don't speak English, but we can speak English. We officers.
Officers.
Officers, yeah. The platoon leaders, all platoon leaders, they speak English.
That's good.
So that is easier. So we hear what they say and we translate to our soldiers.
Uh-huh. What about Korean soldiers? Did you work together with the Korean people or
Once,
Tell
yeah.
me.
Once, I gave support to the Korean outpost. I myself was in one outpost, and the Koreans also next to my left side. It was about midday. They were attacked by the enemies, and then I was giving support with machine gun and with heavy weapons. Like 51 and 57 and so on and so on, and mortars also, I was giving them. Then when they finished the war, when the enemy retreats, then I went to the Koreans' rock. Then we couldn't speak, they don't speak English or Amharic, and I don't speak either Korean or, I speak only Amharic and so we were contacting with side. That was what we have been doing.
Did you like Korean soldiers?
Oh, very much. Still, I'm surprised. They were brave soldiers. I can say that is truly they are very brave soldiers.
Like the Ethiopian soldiers?
I think even better, maybe. I saw them even fighting hand-to-hand combat on that day.
Yep. Were you able to write letter back to your family?
At that time?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
During the
Always,
war?
yes.
What did you write?
Well, how are you? I'm all right.
I'm all right.
I'm still all right.
I'm still one piece.
I'm still alive. That is. Well, at that time, I was not married.
You were married?
I was not married at that
Okay.
time. No, I was not married.
Did you have a
as I
girlfriend?
told you, I was just a fresh graduate.
Did you have a girlfriend?
Well, of course. As a young man, yes, of course. But at that time, my mother was alive, so I'm writing always to my mother.
And your girlfriend?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you still have that letter?
I am the only child for my mother.
Oh.
So therefore, I have to write every time.
So So your mother must be very hard to leave you there in Korean War.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. If you have a letter, I want to scan those so that we can put it in the website.
What, that time?
Yeah.
Oh, so you know how it's very long, more than 68 years.
70
How,
years.
who can keep that letter now?
You don't have it?
No,
Oh, okay.
I don't have it.
All right. What was the most rewarding moment during your service in Korea? When was you happy or most yes kind of moment?
Well, the most happiest day for me when I was in Korea, the day I came back to Ethiopia.
You are very honest, man. I like that. Yeah. When was it? When did you leave Korea?
I went to Korea in March and came back on June. No, June or May, I think.
So 1952, June
Yeah.
or May. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask this question, sir. When you left Korea, did you ever imagine that Korea would become like this today?
Never. Never. How could I imagine? How could I? Because at that time, when I came back, there was still fighting in Korea. So I didn't expect.
But Korea is now 11th largest
11th,
economy
yes.
in the world
11th.
and most powerful democracy in Asia.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about this whole change, transformation?
Oh, well, I wish my country be like Korea, because we learned so many things from Korea. And even sometimes, once your president came here, and he told the progress of Korea, how Korea became today's Korea. So he gave advice to our leaders at that time. So I myself, I accept his advice. So we have to work like Koreans.
Have you participated in another war, like a Congo?
Yes, I have been to Congo also.
So you've been to Congo.
9 years after,
Yeah.
I have been to Congo also. Congo is not actually fighting. No, there is no fighting. It is only police work. Yeah, police action.
So any other war that Ethiopia involved after the Korean War?
Oh yes, still, because they are peacekeeping. The present Minister of Defense is participating in
Oh yeah, in Korea, but any other country?
in other countries, in African countries and other countries.
But that's a peacekeeping action,
Yeah,
right?
as peacekeeping.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
But I learned that in Ethiopian school and school textbook, they don't talk about the Korean War. Why is that?
Well, the present young people, they don't know about Korea.
Why? Why not? Why we don't teach?
The transition, after the emperor,
There was communism.
the communists. So they don't want to mention about Korea. Even they were hunting us, the Korean veterans. They were hunting us. They don't like us at that time, and they sent us without pension. So because they consider us that we are the enemy of communists.
Yeah.
That is why. So it was about 17 years gap. So therefore, the young generation, they don't know about the Korea. Now they are starting to know about Koreans.
So the book that you are watching now you have is The Korean War and its Legacy, and my foundation, Korean War Legacy Foundation, published it in the United States based on American soldiers' interview. And since we don't teach about the Korean War in Ethiopia here, we can make something like that, Ethiopian textbook about the Korean War, using your interview and many other interviews, and then add more things so that we can publish this book. Can we do it?
There is no published books about the Ethiopian soldiers about the Korea War.
It's about the lesson plan teachers can use so that they can use it in the classroom. It's not regular book.
No.
It's a lesson plan.
Yeah, this is your publish.
Yes.
So there is no, is there any Ethiopian?
No, not there.
There is not there, okay.
But I wanted to make Ethiopian books for the teachers so that teachers can teach about the war that you fought for and the relationship between Ethiopia and Korea. Do you think we can do that?
Yes, why not?
Why not, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
why not?
Why not?
Why not? Why not?
So my foundation wants to work with you if you can help us to identify good history teachers here. They will work for you and for us, and my foundation can invest, make donations, and we can publish it here.
Yeah, but you cannot find much about the Korea War, because most of the hero soldiers were now died. You cannot get the true information. Maybe only very few who knows about the Korea War. And even they cannot remember now because as they are too old now, nobody can remember the detail. That's the problem. But if you like, I have an old book written by the Greek person, and I will
give it to me, please.
I will give you. It is too old. It is most part of pages are torn, but you can join it and you can read it. After that, you can get even in that book. There are one or two places. Even my action is there. You can find it.
So we can have a lot of historical record. Find.
Yeah, many pictures in
Yes.
that book. Yeah, many pictures in that book. So you can find it.
And also, Ethiopian soldiers made the orphanage, right? The children who lost their parents. You made the orphanage. Bohwa one, right?
Yeah.
Remember? Did you involve that?
Which children you mean?
You mean the Korean children during the war?
The Korean children. Yeah, you can. Have you seen
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
There are. Yeah, there are. We can, and even there was one Korean. He's still alive. That Korean I was taking care of him. And I invited him once. He was here, and his picture is here. His name is Shautayu, something like that. I call him Sintayu.
Shinteo.
Yeah, I have his picture. He was here. I invited him here, and he joined our celebration here, and he went back. So, and when I have been to Korea last about 5-6 years ago, I met him there also.
That's the story that we need to tell. Any other war story, battle story that you want to tell me?
Most of the battle I joined is mostly as I'm second lieutenant and as I'm platoon leader. Many times I have been to patrol. So that I do remember. Several times I have been to patrol action, and sometimes I don't contact enemies, and most of the time I contacted the enemy and I fought most of the time. That is it was tiresome for second lieutenants, for platoon leaders. It was tiresome. You go out for patrol action every week, at least every week, once a week, at least.
That's
Otherwise, twice a week. That is what I do remember. No rain, no snow. At any time you can go out and you fight.
Wow, you are lucky to be still alive, because that's
Sure.
a very
I was lucky,
mission.
yeah.
Did you know anything about Korea before you left for Korea in 1951? Did you learn anything about Korea?
No, I've never heard about Korea before that.
You never heard about it?
No, You know, I heard that I'm going to Korea for war, and only a few days before I left to Korea. And before that, I don't know anything about Korea. Even the name, I didn't hear Korea. The name, I know that Asia.
He left for Korea day after he graduated from the military academy. This is amazing story. So now you know Korea, right?
Now I know Korea. Who is Korea? Now I know.
So what is Korea to you personally? What is Korea to you personally?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, after that, I heard some books also to know about Korea. Korea was a country which faced so many problems.
Mm-hmm.
So many problems. And by Japanese, by Russian, by Chinese, and I know Korea was in the middle of those nations, you know, Japan, Russia, China. It was in the middle.
Yes.
So because of that, every country was
Try to have.
Yeah, that I came to understand lately when I want to know about Korea, and I read some books. So Korea is very strong country to face all those problems.
Yes. Geopolitically, it's a very difficult location.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to have a
I want to have, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next year will be 70th anniversary of the breakout of the Korean War. Next year. So, do you have any special message to your Korean friends?
Of course, I have. I wish the relationship between Ethiopia and Korea will continue.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish all the best to the Korean friends in the country. Mm-hmm. And I wish many Koreans will celebrate this 70th year being invited here in Ethiopia, including Sintayo, my son,
Yeah.
and God bless Korea and Ethiopia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your sacrifice and honorable service. On behalf of Korean nation, I extend my sincere appreciation to you. And I hope that I can work with you so that we can publish books like that for our teachers. Okay? Sir, that's the best way to keep your legacy.
Okay.
If teachers keep talking about in the classroom, young generations like him will learn about it, okay?
Yeah.
So you have to help me, okay?
Yeah.
Promise?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.